So what have we picked out, Mars? We picked out this from the Cute Girl collection. Which is it that you want me to use off there, baby?
That one.
The mermaid. And the stars. Okay. So give me that one then. And what else have we picked out? Some resin flowers. Okay. And what else? Some wooden frames. Okay. And what else?
Heart stickers.
Heart stickers. Oh, they're pretty, aren't they? Okay. And what else?
Ribbons.
Some bows. You like those? Okay. And what are these?
Sparkly stickers.
Sparkly letter stickers. You're all about the sparkle, you, aren't you? And what else have we got?
Some of these shinies.
Shinies. Are they pearls and diamonds? You like those?
Yeah.
Okay, should we use those?
Yeah.
Okay then. You happy?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Okay, so I have here the goodies Amari picked out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take inspiration from the mermaid that she pointed out, and I think I'm going to make some sort of mermaidy style picture. I think that's the plan so far, and I'm trying to incorporate everything in with that. Yeah, so I will have a think about this and I'll be back and I'll pop you on the process video. Bye! Okay, so I picked out this photo of my daughter. She's going through an odd stage where she likes to wear goggles in the bath, swimming goggles in the bath, and I thought I would go ahead and use those as my basis for this layout. So I've picked two papers from the Cute Girl collection by Crepe Paper. This pink piece has a sort of almost chevron-y fishtail design, and obviously this one's a nice fishtaily design as well. So I thought I'd go ahead and add a large mermaid tail as the basis for this layout. So I'm going to go, I've drawn out a mermaid's tail on to tracing paper. I'm going to go ahead and trace that out onto my patterned paper, and then I'm going to adhere it to my white cardstock, and I'm going to use embossing thread. Oh boy, will I ever get through a process video without tripping over my words or saying the wrong word? Will I? Is that something that will ever happen? I think not. So I've used a little bit of adhesive here just to stick them down, and as I said, I'm going to go ahead and stitch them to the paper using embroidery thread. I've picked out two matching colours, a pink and a yellow, and I went ahead and did that off camera. I think it took me maybe a couple of hours on and off. It didn't take a huge amount of time, but yeah, it took a little while, but I think it's worth it. It's a really bold and fun design. So I'm just taking the strips off this one that's gone through my Canon selfie, so it has sort of printing strips on either side. So I'm going to pick out these frames. I must admit, the frames just threw me for a loop. I was like, what? How can I add the frames in? I don't know. So I'm going to throw the frames to one side and work on the gems instead. Now, the easiest way to incorporate the gems, in my opinion, is to add them to the tail. So I'm going to go ahead and add the pearls to the fin part of the tail. And then once they're all in place, and yes, I did have to place them all individually, which took longer than I wanted it to. It took maybe 10 minutes to add all of those, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the Diamante gem blingy stuff and add them in on the body of the tail. Is it the body of the tail? I think it is. So I've gone ahead and added those. Gosh, really, I one day I will get through a process video and it will be smooth and I will sound like I know what I'm talking about and I won't say stupid things and it will be wonderful. It really will. So I've decided I'm going to use this frame for my journaling. So I figure I'm going to lay it in almost an L-shaped design using the tail as my upper portion of the L, the vertical portion of the L, and then obviously my photo and journaling as the horizontal portion of the L. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. So I'm going to add in some of the resin flowers around near the mermaid, and then I know I'm going to add in resin flowers elsewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where. I've got to say at this point I was kind of thrown for a bit of a loop as to how to fit things in, and I figured this greeny blue bow kind of matched the greeny blue of the bottom of the mermaid's tail in the chipboard, and I've had these in my stash for like a million years just because I can't use them. I never know how to use them, so when she picked those it was just one of those moments of, oh, I don't know how to use these. So I'm going to play around with that for a little while and think about it whilst I'm working on my title. I've decided to title this Devoting Full Time to Floating, which is obviously a nod to The Little Mermaid and the song that comes in that. The song that is in that, not comes in that. So I'm using my Thick as Alignment guide just to hold my letters. I'm not necessarily trying to get them straight. Excuse me. For this layout, I'm just using it as a sort of holding place for my title. And I've just done a little bit of journaling onto some just normal copy paper. I don't do anything fancy for this. I'm just adhering my frame over my journaling. Just making sure not to cover the little hearts at the bottom because I'm going to add a strip of the pink paper that I've used in the tail fin, just to add a second portion of that pink, just to give it another element of it, I suppose. So again, just using some wet glue just to adhere that down and trimming it into place. I actually quite like the frame now it's got journaling in it. I was again, those frames have been in my stash for a while just because they're one of those things that I love and I think they're so pretty, but I really struggle to use. So as much as my daughter picked out things that I think are very pretty and they work quite well together, equally she picked out a whole bunch of stuff that I really struggle to use. So yeah, she definitely tested me here, bless her. Actually, if you stay tuned to the end of this video, the very end of this video, I do have her reaction to the layout. I managed to get her on film with it, so you get to see that if you stay tuned to the end as well, which will be fun. And she's actually asked me to keep out some of the things she picked so that she can make her own layout. So she hasn't done that at the time I'm editing this, but if you follow me on Instagram, which is just Zoe Guest Art over on Instagram, I will post her layout on there when she gets around to it, because that could be fun. I wonder if hers will be better than mine. Very probably. Knowing Amari, very, very probably. So I'm just backing my photo and my frame. You saw I added one layer of foam to my photo and then a whole layer of foam behind the photo and the frame. That was to bring my photo in line with the height of the frame, and then also to bring the whole cluster off the mermaid's tail because I've added quite a bit of texture to the tail with those gems. So I wanted to make sure it came well off and sat much higher. And obviously once I've added in the mermaid chipboard and the resin flowers, that's going to add even more texture. So making sure that more height, so making sure that the photo had quite a large amount of height. It's not large amount of height, but it's a lot more than I would normally use. It just helps it stay in the same level as the resin flowers and everything else. So that's the theory behind that. So I've gone ahead and taken this scalloped piece from the chipboard, from the Cute Girl collection chipboard. I mentioned in another video, but I've actually just bought it all again, or recently bought it all again, thanks to my daughter's love of it. So it's nice to have it all in my stash again and be able to use it all again. I'm really enjoying having it there. So if you see it quite a bit in videos at the moment, that is why. It's because it's my little love affair at the moment. I can't remember if I've mentioned recently, but I would like to say thank you very much for all your support with this March marathon, March Madness for Mind. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. It means the world. We've already raised a really lovely sum on the fundraising page, which was just completely unexpected, and genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I cannot tell you how much it means. So thank you so much for that. I can tell you we have also raised so far about $25 in ad revenue so far. So that's pretty cool, considering we're only 9 days in. That is genuinely amazing. So thank you, and keep liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, because we're going to raise such a good sum for them, and that I can't tell you, it means the world. It really does. You guys are beyond amazing, and I adore each and every one of you. And now I'm going to stop with the feels, because awkward. So I've gone ahead and added my title whilst I was having a little moment there, and I've added full time to in an alpha. I genuinely don't know who makes the alpha. I cut it down from a 12 by 12 sheet ages ago. So I've got no idea, I'm afraid, but it matched the green in the layout perfectly, and I know I'm just off camera there, but I do notice and pop it back in. So I'm just using my glue gun to glue in the resin flowers, because I just find that's the best way of adhering them. They tend to stick better if I use hot glue rather than wet glue. And I know if you are very conscious of acid and whatnot in your scrapbooks, then by all means, don't use hot glue in your layouts. I genuinely don't worry about it. I just don't. I've been doing this for a long time, and the layouts I made back in the day when I didn't worry about acid stuff are still fine. So yeah, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to go ahead and use what works, and this works. So that's why I use it. So I'm going to faff around with that bow for like a year, I think, because it's driving me nuts. It just feels so plonked. So I'm going to pull it up again, and I'm going to pop it down again, and I'll pull it up again and pop it down again. But in the end, it does add a lovely visual triangle of green with the title and the bow and the mermaid's tail. So it does work out quite well, in that it does add a nice visual triangle, drawing the eye back to the photo and the journaling. So that works quite well in the end. So I'm taking quite a light grey pen here to do a little border. It doesn't show up on camera, but I assure you it's a very nice border. it's beautiful. It's the best border. Oh yeah. No, it does. It's because of my lights. My lights are so bright that it doesn't show up very well. But I didn't want to add in more black. I felt like that one spot of black actually worked quite well with the scalloped border. I didn't feel like I wanted to add it around the edge of the design as well. So I've grabbed Heidi Swap Colour Shine in mint and in ocean and in gold, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some splatters around, just so that it's not quite so stark around the design. It felt a little bit stark. Had I thought, I probably would have added maybe a little bit of the paper packaging technique before I stitched my tail down, just to give a sort of water-like feel to the whole background. But I quite like how this came out, so I'm not going to complain. But I think, yeah, given my time again, I probably would have done just a little bit of the packaging technique to make it feel more water-like. But yeah, I quite like how it's turned out. So I've just added in another puffy sticker there because it felt like too much white space at the top of my journaling, so I just wanted to cut that down a little bit. And I think that's about it. I really do like how this turned out in the end. She gave me a bunch of supplies I didn't necessarily want to use. But yeah, I quite like how it's turned out. So thank you ever so much for watching. Stay tuned for Amari's reaction. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye! You ready?
Yeah.
There you go. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
Is that what you wanted? You a pirate today?
Yep. I love the little ribbons and the flowers.
Yeah?
Yep, and that one, and all the things I like.
It's got everything you like?
Even a mermaid's tail.
Even a mermaid's tail?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted?
Yep.
Brilliant! Yay! Say bye-bye!
Bye-bye!